David, Raphael, Uri David, so when you live very far away from your family, your friends, all of you, really become an extended family. And I count each and every one of you as part of that family. And as women together, I feel we kind of become like sisters. There's sort of a sisterhood that we have in this larger community. And I so appreciate your kindness and your support and your love, especially at this really difficult time for our family. I want to thank Manette, who's not here, but hopefully will be here later, for sharing this beautiful space with us. Thank you so much to Erica for so kindly sharing her wisdom and deep knowledge with us tonight. Thank you to my newest friend, Daria Topolovsky, who has really inspired me, and I hope will inspire us and connect to David's neshama in a way through song. Thank you, Rachel. Where's Rachel? Thank you so much, Rachel, for kind of putting all the refreshments together, and to Caroline and Melanie and anyone else who helped. I'm just so touched and so grateful for all your kindness. Just before I get started, some of you might see a sheet in front of you that has sort of a couple of, sort of a few important things. I wanted to share sort of a couple of photos of David. Both of these photos actually were taken of David after he was diagnosed. I just wanted to sort of give you a sense of who he was as a father, a son, a brother, and a grandson, and all these sort of different pieces that made him who he was. So we're learning Mishnayot, the Zecher, his neshama, and hopefully we will have a siyum of all the Mishnayot at his yard site, and there's a website you can sign up for. And we're also raising money to help a widowed family in our community who's having great difficulty. I just have to tell you, it's very strange, but about a week ago, David appeared to me in a dream, and I can't remember some parts of the dream, but the one thing that really struck me was he said, you have to raise money for widowed families. And I hadn't even thought about it. I thought I would raise money for cancer research, but this just seemed to be something that we could really make the difference in the lives of a family in need in our community. I feel like it's a double mitzvah, the mitzvah of tzedakah and the mitzvah of helping the widow. So I'm going to speak very briefly, and then Erica's going to give a Dvar Torah, and appropriately about David and Melech's battles, fought and won. And then I hope that you will join us in elevating David's neshama through music by connecting to the last month of David's life, through the songs that were sung to him and with him. And so I hope you join us. A little bit about David. David was 5 years older than me, and somehow he always involved me in his antics with his friends, for better or for worse. And we'd all go out to the movies together, we'd listen to music, we'd go for walks and generally misbehave. And it's actually a real credit to David that he included me, with his friends. But I had the chance to, spend some time with a lot of his friends during the Shiva, and was really struck by how many close friends he had still after 40 years. I mean, friends he's known since he was 10, and a friend bought his photo album and could trace times that they had from when they were 15 to sort of recent times. very close growing up. He had a lot of faith in me. He always told me how clever I was, which it's kind of funny to think about it now, but I went to a very competitive high school, and I didn't feel very clever. And he was kind of my rah-rah, go girl, big supporter. He gave me advice about boys, about what to wear. He was very outspoken on this matter. And he'd say, you look amazing, or you look awful. So 11 years ago, David married Deborah, and together they had 3 beautiful boys, the oldest of whom is Jake, who's 9, Ben, who's now 7, and Sam, who is 17 months old. And he was an incredibly proud father who was constantly looking for new toys and gadgets to spoil his boys with. On the day that he died, his 2 older sons were able to say goodbye to him. And they hugged him and told him that he was the best dad in the world. And to them he was, and he always will be. One of the things I'm really proud of is that David was dedicated to Jewish education and was deeply involved in building a new school in London, the Morashah School. And he was their first, we call it a parent governor, it's like the president of the school, and he helped build the school. It started off with just 9 students, and now has 150 in just 5 years with a beautiful new building. And so many people at the Shiva came up to me and told me how key he was in building this school and really having a vision for this school. David had brain cancer, which he fought really bravely for 13 months. He tried every alternative treatment, even ones that the doctors had never heard of. He had some goals for this last year that we talked about together. He was determined to battle his cancer. He saw himself as an outlier. He wanted to be at Sam's first birthday, and he was. He wanted to go to Shloshim with his family, to go to the Kotel with him, and he did. And he wanted to be Khatam Bereshit. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when we sing together. But he was Khatam Bereshit just 2 weeks before he died. Sadly, he didn't battle the cancer, but he was able to fulfill these other goals, and I'm very grateful for that. He was a fighter, just like David HaMelech. So Erica's going to share, I'm sorry I didn't tell everyone to bring Tanakh, but Erica's going to share a little bit about David HaMelech.
So I think the fact that so many people are in this room is really a testament to the friendship and outreach that Liz has done to so many people in the community and so many institutions that she's cared passionately about that really have serviced all of us here. And for those of us who kind of knew right at the beginning of the diagnosis, I think awed by Liz's strength to grow and what it means to be a really good sister and a really good friend to someone who's really far away while maintaining your friends here. So, there's, I guess, 2 people we're honoring, certainly this evening. And, we have a custom to learn in a person's honor and memory. And in that, we bring that person into the room to continue that person's spirit, that spirit lives with us today. So it seems to me entirely appropriate to think about who David HaMelech was, and certain of the qualities that Liz has shared with me about her brother that seem apparent in this story. So when we meet David HaMelech, he is the youngest son of Yishai. When a ruler is needed, the Shmuel is told to go to see Yishai because any of his 8 sons will it's actually an amazing tribute to his parents to say, anyone you pick in that house will do a good job. But in the Cinderella sort of way, the wisest child here was the youngest. For those of us who are oldest children, it hurts. But it says, in Shmuel Aleph, V'David ben Ish Efratim, V'David ben Lechem Huda, V'Shmuel Shmona Banim, V'Ish B'mei Shaul Zakim Baba Nashim. So Shaul was getting older. His leadership was crumbling, and there were very significant military challenges ahead. So he had 3 older brothers. They went out to war, and they were going out to war against a very difficult enemy. So the 3 oldest had followed Shaul, and David, Holech v'shav me'al Shaul, he wrote at Son Aviv Beit Lahem. So David had to be the kind of substitute shepherd. He was a shepherd, but he had to really engage the role of all the shepherds. And we know that being a shepherd is really the MBA of leadership in Tanakh. That's the way you get there, is to know how to manage a flock, to care about predators, to think about the weather, to chart a long-term course, to be okay with being alone, and to not be able to talk to your constituents. So the idea of the shepherd as a model and introducing David as a shepherd already tells us in some way that he didn't take the soldier path, that he wasn't perhaps as strapping and strong as his older brothers, and he had to fill the vacuum in their lives. So and Yishai said to David, "Kafna lachicha eikach hazeh v'asar lechem hazeh." He was the gopher. Go take your brothers, you do their jobs, and also take them food and make sure that they're okay, and you'll do all of the jobs. And he says something that Yaakov says to Yosef, go find out how brothers do. Meaning, you don't have an independent role in this war. You can't fight this battle. Someone else is much more competent. Go see how everybody else is doing. So early the next morning, David did as his father did. He gets to the barricade of the army, going out to battle. There's a war cry, and everyone is drawing up their battle lines. They were, does not look like this, but at that time when people they were members of a military, and the military was having a face-off with each other, and David takes a kind of startling role. So he goes into a very dangerous place. I don't think his father meant go to the point of great danger and endanger yourself in finding out how well your brothers are doing. And David does that anyway. As he's talking, he's talking to his brothers. So as David is just trying to find out how his brothers are doing, and here's all the food that Dad sent you while I get the loser food at home, but here's everything for you, he sees this enemy. And the enemy is larger than any enemy that the Israelites had faced at that point, Goliath. So they put their big guy up front as this sort of terror on the front lines that would intimidate, and certainly did intimidate, the other side. When b'chol ish Yisrael b'ratam et ha'ish v'yanasu mipanav v'yiru ma'od. Every single person, every single soldier is afraid. Now we have a halacha in Sefer Dvarim that if you're afraid as a soldier, you're not allowed to go to war, because we're afraid that your fear is going to infect everybody. So the sense here that everybody has been impacted and afraid of what's to come. And Vayomer ish Yisrael, haritem ha'ish ha'oleh hazeh. Have you seen this guy? Right? So you could totally imagine the scene that all of a sudden they're afraid, they're prepared, and they're realizing they're at a total disadvantage. Now, and they realize that they're going to lose. So David, Vayomer David el anashim ha'omdim lemor, ma yaseh ish asher yakeh et ha'plishtim. What are we going to do for the person who actually kills this Philistine and removes him? Terpa me'al Yisrael. Who is this guy? And when Eliav was angry, his older brother, Yichar af Eliav v'David, and he said, Lama ze yaradata? What are you doing here? This isn't your place. This isn't your war to fight. So, and he keeps going on, as older brothers do. I know your impudence and your impertinence. Hebrew doesn't have those words, but okay, impudence and impertinence is rude. You came down to watch the fighting. Knows he thinks